Good morning, Acadiana, and thanks for tuning in to Local News Live, a production of AOC Community Media in partnership with the Acadiana Advocate, our local source of journalism here in Acadiana. We thank you so much for tuning in to our broadcast every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And we're so glad to bring it to you. We could not bring it to you without the generous support and volunteer efforts of newsreaders like the fabulous Mr. Bruce Cohen, who's here with us this morning. Good morning, Bruce.
Oh, I'm just fab. I'm just
totally fab.
I'm in a fab mood.
Keeping it nice and positive for us all the time, Mr. Bruce Cohen.
Trying to.
Well, thanks so much, Bruce. I'm going to go listen to your positive vibes radiate through the airwaves with the public.
Friday, December. I'm skipped a few months ahead. Friday, September 25th. Good morning, Acadiana. I'm happy to bring you all the news that fits into the next hour. We'll start off with the lead story this morning as Acadiana schools a lead state in cases. Report released by Louisiana Health Department by Katie Gagliano, staff writer. Acadiana schools lead the state in reported novel coronavirus cases among students and staff, according to new data from the Louisiana Department of Health. The state reported there were 97 cases of COVID-19 among students and staff at schools in the Health Department's Region 4, which encompasses Acadia, Iberia, Evangeline, Lafayette, St. Landry, St. Martin, and Vermilion parishes. The breakdown included 26 staff, faculty, or volunteer cases, and 71 students. The case numbers represent cumulative reports, and not all COVID-19 cases are necessarily active, says Sean Ellis, Health Department Public Information Officer. Cases for schools are not currently broken out in active infection and recovered categories. The data is courtesy of a state-mandated school reporting system established by emergency order September 1st. Each K-12 school in the state is required to report confirmed or suspected COVID-19 cases to the state health agency. Each school receives a password-protected account to submit their case information when they register for the reporting system. State Superintendent Katie Brumley said the centralized database will help the Louisiana Department of Education and schools track outbreak patterns and make decisions about when to quarantine a class or a school. A parish or system-level breakdown was not provided this week, but Alice said this department is adapting how the data is reported as more schools enroll, and it's possible a parish-level breakdown could be available in the future. This is the third week of reporting via the new system, and the first where infection numbers have been broken down by region. As of Wednesday, 1,103 of the state's K-12 schools were enrolled in the program, and 523 COVID-19 cases have been reported. Region 5, which covers the Hurricane Laura hit region of southwest Louisiana, has 27 enrolled schools but had no reports. Region 5 parishes include Allen, Beauregard, Calcasieu, Cameron, and Jefferson Davis. Acadiana was closely followed by Region 2, including East Baton Rouge Parish, which reported 96 cases among students and staff. The state database, while providing little breakdown, is one of the best looks at how COVID-19 is spreading in Louisiana schools. Each school system or standalone academy has taken its own approach to reporting COVID-19 cases to families. The Lafayette Parish school system, with roughly 32,000 students, is reporting cases to close contacts and families and staff who are in the vicinity of an affected person, like in a classroom or extracurricular group, by not doing broader notifications. Spokesperson Allison Dickerson said it's an effort to strike a balance between transparency and medical privacy. About 8,500 K-12 students across the Lafayette Parish school system have opted for virtual learning through the Lafayette Online Academy. which ballooned from about 200 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although the state is transitioning to its phase 3 reopening plan, which loosens restrictions for restaurants, retail stores, schools, churches, gyms, and open bars in a few parishes, including Lafayette, the school system said it would remain in phase 2 learning until at least early October. Okay, next story is about the area schools. 5 area schools won Blue Ribbon Awards. 10 schools across Louisiana recognized by Katie Gagliano. So we are having a higher rate of COVID-19 cases, but we are having schools in and out throughout the Acadiana area that are receiving the Blue Ribbon Award, which provides excellence in education. And this is a national award. So 5 Acadiana schools were recognized Thursday as National Blue Ribbon Award winners by the U.S. Department of Education. Erath High School and St. Thomas More Catholic High in Lafayette were honored in the Exemplary High Performing Schools category, and Forked Island, East Broussard Elementary in Abbeville, Indian Bayou Elementary in Rain, and Stevensville Elementary in Morgan City were recognized in the Exemplary Achievement Gap Closing Schools category, according to a prepared statement by from the U.S. Department of Education. Louisiana schools were recognized among the 367 public and private K-12 schools honored nationally. This national honor speaks to the high expectations in student-first cultures you will find at all of these schools, Louisiana Superintendent of Education Kate Brumley said in a statement. I'm proud to have them represent Louisiana and congratulate them on this remarkable accomplishment. 3 of the honored schools were Vermilion Parish, and Superintendent Tommy Byler, named the district's leader in August, took to Facebook to celebrate the news with a live announcement video. What a great accomplishment, not only for those teachers, students, parents, administrators, but for Vermilion Parish as a whole. It's taken a lot of effort by a lot of people to get our schools in Vermilion Parish where they are, he said. Byler said in a Thursday phone interview, it takes everyone contributing, school-level staff, curriculum support at central office, specialist offices, including special education and the community, to raise schools up to achieve honors like National Blue Ribbon recognition. These awards were celebrated by everyone playing into the mission of Vermilion United. Byler has championed since taking the school's district's head position on the school system. Recognition with another victory for the school district, which recently celebrated when LeBlanc Elementary Principal Rachel Brown was named Louisiana Elementary Principal of the Year for 2021. Vermilion Parish, the number 2 ranked school district in the state for 2018 and 2019, continues to make positive strides and achieve, and people are beginning to recognize that, Byler said. Recognition in both categories speaks to the district's mission to provide a quality education for all students and to provide services to students in need, he said. We are truly concerned about all of our students. It goes to the point that we are trying to teach every child, the superintendent said. The National Blue Ribbon Schools program began in 1982 and recognizes elementary, middle, and high schools for overall academic performance or progress, closing achievement gaps with student subgroups. This is the 4th National Blue Ribbon Award for St. Thomas More Catholic High School and their first in more than 20 years. The school was previously honored in 1986-87, 1992-93, and 1997-98. St. Thomas More was the only Acadiana honoree to previously win a National Blue Ribbon Award, according to the U.S. Department of Education records. Principal Kelly Leger said the national recognition is a confidence booster for teachers and staff that affirms their efforts to go above and beyond for their students that are paying off. Some of these efforts highlighted in their Blue Ribbon application included bi-monthly staff-led professional development sessions, focused on technology and curriculum development, and the MORE program, a track of college preparatory courses tailored to students with learning differences or disabilities through built-in accommodations, one-on-one attention, and smaller class sizes. As I look around, we have some wonderful schools in the state of Louisiana and in our parish and in our diocese. I don't know that we are set apart from everyone else. I just know that we make it work, and we make it work seamlessly because of my faculty. They are unbelievable. They're so self-driven. They give us the best we possibly have, and I feel like that's really paid off in the classroom, as I said. St. Thomas More's Thursday was jam-packed with good news. First, the groundbreaking of the school's chapel, which I'll be reading in a later story, part of their Envision More campaign, followed by the National Blue Ribbon announcement. Leger said the positivity was uplifting amid a school year marked by adjustments to the coronavirus pandemic. These two activities today, the chapel groundbreaking and this award, this honor was given really affirms that the students, the faculty, staff, the administration, our parents, our benefactors are living our school mission every single day, Leger said. Schools honored in the exemplary high-performing category must have their state's highest graduation rates and student achievement in the top 15% for English and math on state assessments. For the exemplary achievement gap closing category, schools must be in the top 15% for closing subgroup achievement gaps in English and math over the past 5 years, based on state assessments, the U.S. Department of Education guidelines said. Private schools are recognized in the exemplary high-performing division if their students test in the top 15% nationally on state assessments or a nationally normed test in English and math. Award winners will be recognized during a virtual award ceremony on November 12th and 13th. Right, and continuing in that thread of schools getting awards, UL Lafayette listed among best colleges in U.S. News and World Report rankings. The University of Louisiana Lafayette has been listed among the nation's top 389 colleges in the 2021 edition of the U.S. News and World Report's Best Colleges. The annual guidebook assessed 1,452 four-year colleges and universities to help parents and students make decisions about which schools to attend. UL Lafayette was tied with a host of other schools at number 154 in the public universities category and number 298 in the national universities category. National universities emphasize research and offer bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. Rankings are compiled based on many factors, including academic reputation, graduation and retention rates, faculty resources, student-faculty ratio, social mobility, ACTS, SAT scores of admitted students, and alumni giving. U.S. News and World Report's recognition is a representative of our learning environment, which attracts academically gifted students who are stimulated by the challenging coursework delivered by dedicated faculty members, said Dr. Dwayne Bowie, University's Vice President for Enrollment Management. The guide also includes rankings in a range of categories. UL Lafayette received high marks in many of them, including the top performer in the social mobility category, tied for number 224. Among academic programs, the university was recognized for best computer science programs, tied for number 171, undergraduate engineering programs, tied for 181, and best business programs, tied for 273. UL Lafayette graduate programs were recognized in several categories as well. Speech and language pathology, tied for number 82. Computer science, tied for number 133. Nursing schools, Doctor of Nursing Practice, 133. Nursing schools, Master's, tied for number 175. Engineering schools, tied for number 152. Biological sciences, tied at number 175. And education, tied for 196. The part-time MBA program was tied at 194. All university MBA curriculums are the same, however, whether students are enrolled part-time, full-time, or online. Two departments in the College of Engineering were ranked for graduate programs: industrial engineering, tied for number 90, and computer engineering, tied for number 127. Other university graduate programs in schools cited by U.S. News and World Report were business, English, and mathematics. U.S. News and World Report recognized several of the university's online programs. Best Online Master's in Nursing Programs, tied for number 45, and Best Online Master's in Education Programs, tied for number 89. Best Online Bachelor's Programs, tied for number 106, and Best Online MBA Programs, tied at 149. And I just want you to know that report came from the staff at KLFY. I found it last night, and I thought it would be nice to tie it in to the local public schools getting recognition as well. Okay, well, we're going to turn to our first PSA for the morning. Request for mosquito control now available through Lafayette 311. Lafayette Consolidated Government is increasing mosquito abatement efforts in the parish following Hurricane Laura. An increase in mosquito activity is a common occurrence following a storm event. Citizens noticing an influx of mosquitoes in the area can now use the Lafayette 311 portal to request service. All submitted requests are routed directly to Mosquito Control Services, the mosquito control contractor for the parish. The Festival Awards Student Creative Writing Contest, what all Acadian area students in grades 3 through 12 who attend public schools, private schools, charter schools, and home schools are invited to attend the virtual festival. This is the Festival Awards annual writing contest will be held virtually on November 6th and 7th of this year, 2020. You can contact Dr. H. Michelle Kramer. That's H.M. Kramer, K-R-E-A-M-E-R at louisiana.edu. Students in grades 3 through 12 from across the Acadiana area are invited to participate in a writing contest sponsored by the National Writing Project of Acadiana and the Festival Awards. Students can enter their original writing pieces in 3 writing categories, including poetry, fiction, and creative nonfiction. Writing should be submitted through a supervising teacher or school facilitator online by sending them to H.M. Kramer, that's H-M-K-R-E-A-M-E-R at louisiana.edu. Parent and guardian permission must be granted by filling out the student writing contest entry form. Supervising teacher or school facilitators should submit these forms electronically by the submission deadline as well. Awards will be given first, second, and third place winners. Contest winners will also receive an anthology publication of winning entries. Feel free to contact Dr. H. Michelle Kramer, Writing Competition Coordinator for Festival Awards Student Creative Writing Contest at H.M. Kramer, again, H-M-K-R-E-A-M-E-R at louisiana.edu. If you have questions or concerns. And it says happy writing. And again, the deadline for this festival, for this writing contest, is Friday, October 23rd by 11:55 p.m. And you can go to the Festival Awards or website page to find out more information, or the National Writing Project of Acadiana, I believe, has a Facebook page and a website as well. Okay, we'll move back into the stories for this morning. Lafayette's Development Code gets minor revisions by Ben Meyer, staff writer. Mayor President Josh Guillory's campaign promise to completely overhaul Lafayette's Development Code posed a question. What would that mean for the stringent drainage regulations adopted during the previous administration? Developers have found some of these measures unnecessarily onerous, and Guillory made no bones about wanting to make life easier for them. Yet Guillory also promised to solidify Lafayette's drainage systems. 8 months after Guillory convened a committee to repeal and replace the Unified Development Code, the administration's proposed revisions suggest a more tailored approach, one that leaves the 2017 drainage measures largely in place. There is one exception. 2017 drainage regulations include a ban on inline detention, which is a practice of merging newly constructed detention ponds with existing drainage canals. The administration wants to lift the ban, albeit in a way that prevents negative upstream impacts and other problems that lead to the ban in the first place, said Jessica Cornet, LCG's civil engineering supervisor. There just hasn't been many successful inline detentions, Cornet said, referring to Lafayette. There are so many contributing factors in putting a pond on a channel. You charge the velocity, you change the water surface elevation. There's a lot of additional concern. Yet Cornet also pointed to an exception in the Sawgrass Park subdivision, which he said benefits from a weir outfall and an equalizer pipe to ensure consistent elevation. That subdivision, which is less than a decade old, benefited from lessons of previous subdivisions using inline detention. Cornet wants to establish an evaluation system for development proposals using inline detention that will address problems from the outset. She tapped two university professors, Iman Habib of the University of Louisiana Lafayette and Hihab Melshali of Tulane to assist. They have submitted a draft report that Cornet said is not yet ready for release. Without discussing the specifics of the report, Habib and Melshali said the evaluation system may have in mind would, for example, require developers to show how inline detention systems would avoid impacting neighboring areas. There is no one right or wrong way to do inline detention, since systems vary widely depending on gradient, the channel's sediment, and other site-specific circumstances, the professor said. Inline detention is the same as offline detention, or elevating homes, or dredging, or widening a channel, or enlarging road crossings to increase capacity, Melshali said. I don't think it's true to say that never work. It's also not true to say they always work. Neither one is correct. The inline detention ban is not the only new drainage regulation that developers on Guillory's Code Replacement Committee want to seek on. Another is a no net fill mandate for flood zones, which requires new constructions in these areas to maintain existing natural water storage capacity. Developers do this by excavating unimproved land, driving up cost. When you start taking land and saying half of it is now unstable, that doesn't do anything for anybody. It kills property values, it kills development opportunity. It just doesn't work, said Ryan Pico, a senior executive with Sterling Properties. The administration's proposed code revisions, which require city and parish council approval, include only a cosmetic change to the no net fill regulation, clarifying that it applies only to new proposals undergoing administrative review. The new language formalizes how the regulation is being enforced, and Mary Slyman, Director of Planning and Development. Slyman said the no net fill regulation contributed to Lafayette's recently improved FEMA community rating, which will result in better flood insurance premiums. I don't want to call it a necessary evil, but it is a good thing, Slyman said. Slyman said the administration still intends to repeal and replace the development code, but perhaps not in the wholesale way Guillory initially framed it. The other proposed revisions amount to incremental changes to landscaping, a gravel parking lot, open ditches, and other areas. These will be included in a new document with a different title, the Lafayette Development Code, that otherwise retains the existing code, she said. Pico said the administration was right to take a more immediate approach, revising the 5-year quote. If we would put a whole new code out there, we would have all the same growing pains we have with this one. We would find the same unintended consequences as we did with this one. So remedying the unintended consequences is what you need to do, and that's what we are doing, Pico said. All right, let's turn to a couple more PSAs before we do go into the day in history and the zodiac and the funerals in the Acadiana area for today. Healing House is seeking grief support group volunteers. Healing House, Hope for Grieving Children, is looking for volunteers to help grieving children and teens who have experienced the death of a parent, sibling, or special person. Interested volunteers must be at least 21 years of age, available 2 evenings out of each month, and able to attend the scheduled training sessions. Healing House, Hope for Grieving Children, provides grief support groups for children in an atmosphere where they're allowed to express their grief through interactive play, expressive artwork, and discussion groups with peers experiencing the same trauma. All services provided by Healing House are free of charge and run by trained volunteers. Volunteers serve as support group facilitators for children ages 4 through 17 and are instructed how to listen and respond appropriately to a grieving child. A background or experience in mental health or counseling is not required. The upcoming training session will be held Friday, October 23rd, 2020, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and Saturday, October 24th, 2020, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Volunteers are required to attend both days of the training sessions. Volunteer application can be found online at www.healing-house.org/ways-to-give/volunteer. To learn more about Healing House and the services we provide, you can call 337-234-0443 or visit the website healing-house.org. Okay, and the Illustrated Cafe and Downtown Tourism Kiosk, unique opportunities for downtown Lafayette Unlimited members to be part of an upcoming exhibition in downtown Lafayette. From October to January, the Illustrated Cafe will serve as a public installation in the cafe at the Canadian Center for the Arts. Cafe is designed to look like a line drawing that visitors can walk inside, a cartoon-like world created by artist Aileen Bennett. The installation is a black and white drawing in 3 dimensions with real tables and chairs, fanciful illustrations, and objects galore. There will also be a downtown tourism kiosk to help visitors navigate and learn about downtown. The installation will open October 10th for downtown Lafayette's second Saturday Art Walk and will run for a minimum of 3 months, including special holiday editions for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Completely integrated into the project, there will be maps, advertising postcards, and stationary advertising to provide a much-desired information hub to share with visitors in the thriving downtown area. What you will receive: your business's postcard designed by Aileen Bennett will be featured in the Illustration Cafe's visitor hub. Visitors will be able to take home these custom designed cards free throughout the 3 months duration of the exhibition. There is a unique opportunity for businesses to receive a personalized piece of art for inclusion and a fantastical viewer experience. For more information, contact Acadian Center for the Arts.org. All right, moving on. Getting back into our news, it's almost the half-hour mark, so we'll do the day in history and the zodiac or horoscope and the funerals in the Keniana area for today. Today in history, today is Friday, September 25th, the 269th day of 2020. There are potentially 97 shopping days left in the year. Today's highlight in history: on September 25th, 1957, 9 Black students who'd been forced to withdraw from Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, because of unruly white crowds, were escorted to class by members of the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division. Also on this date, in 1789, the first United States Congress adopted 12 amendments to the Constitution and sent them to the states for ratification. 10 of the amendments became the Bill of Rights. In 1911, ground was broken for my beloved Boston's Fenway Park. That's what Bostonians call it. Let's go to the park, have a dog, watch the game. 1919, President Woodrow Wilson collapsed after a speech in Pueblo, Colorado, during a national speaking tour in support of the Treaty of Versailles. 1956, the first transatlantic telephone cable officially went into service with a three-way ceremonial call between New York, Ottawa, and London. 1962, Sonny Liston knocked out Floyd Patterson in round one to win the world heavyweight title at Comiskey Park in Chicago. In 1974, Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Tommy John underwent an experimental graft reconstruction of the ulnar collateral ligament in the elbow of his throwing arm to repair a career-ending injury. The procedure, which proved successful, is now referred to as Tommy John surgery. 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor was sworn in as the first female justice on the Supreme Court. 1992, NASA's Mars observer blasted off on a $980 million mission to the Red Planet. The probe disappeared just before entering Martian orbit in August of 1993. 2016, golf legend Arnold Palmer, 87, died in Pittsburgh. Jose Fernandez, 24, ace right-hander for the Miami Marlins, was killed in a boating accident with two friends off of Miami Beach. And in 2018, Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison for drugging and molesting a woman at his suburban Philadelphia home. 10 years ago, President Barack Obama, in his weekly radio and internet address, said the Republicans planned to slash taxes and cut spending if the GOP were to retake the House in November was no more than an echo of a disastrous decade we can't afford to relive. 5 years ago, President Barack Obama laid out a fresh threat of sanctions for economic espionage emanating from China, even as he and President Xi Jinping pledged their countries will not conduct or support such hacking. 1 year ago, the White House released a rough transcript of President Donald Trump's July 25th call with Vladimir Zelensky, confirming that Trump had pushed Ukraine's leader to work with Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Attorney General William Barr to investigate Joe Biden and his son. Today's birthdays: broadcast journalist Barbara Walters, Bob Walters, is 91. Folk singer Ian Tyson is 87. A polka band leader, Jimmy Sturr, is 79 years old today, folks. Former Defense Secretary Robert Gates is 77. Actor-producer Michael Douglas is 76 today. Model Cheryl Teague is 73. Movie director Pedro Almodovar is 71. Actor-director Anson Williams is 71. Actor Mark Hamill, or otherwise known to most of you as Luke Skywalker, is 69 years old today. Actor Michael Madsen is 62. Actor Heather Locklear is 59. Basketball Hall of Famer Scottie Pippen is 55. Actor Will Smith is 52 years old today. And actor Catherine Zeta-Jones is 51. It just so happens that she's married to Michael Douglas, whose birthday is also today, who I mentioned earlier. Actor Robbie Jones is 43. Rapper T.I. is 40. Rapper Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, is 37, and actor Zach Woods is 36 years old today. If folks looking at the zodiac, if you're a Libra, September 23rd for October 23rd, deal with domestic problems quickly and efficiently. Think and act fast before someone has a chance to come between you and what you want. Stay in control and do what pleases you. Scorpios, October 24th through November 22nd, do your best to be a mediator, not a disruptor. Size up if current trends are influencing whatever decision you face. Enact in good faith, and you'll get positive results. Sagittarius, November 23rd through December 21st. Extend your interest in circle of friends, engage in intellectual changes, and enjoy the company of friends and family. Romance is on the rise and will bring you closer to the one you love. Capricorn, December 22nd through January 19th. Don't let anyone push you in a direction you don't want to go. Make adjustments to your surroundings that will ensure you have a place to retreat. Aquarius, January 20th through February 19th. Handle joint finances or virtual ventures with care. Arguing will not help you resolve issues, make personal improvements, and nurture meaningful relationships. Pisces, February 20th through March 20th, a change of plans will end up benefiting you if you remain calm, finish what you start, and focus on health and fitness. Aries, March 21st through April 19th, the less time you have to think about situations that irk you, the better. Anger and frustration will slow you down. Live in the moment and focus on what you can accomplish, not the impossible. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th, refuse to get involved in someone's investment. Put your time and money into what will help you get ahead and do not stop until you are happy with the results. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th, get in touch with mentally stimulating people. The ideas you come up with will lead to a joint venture that can bring in extra cash. Don't share secrets someone trusted you to keep. Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd. Use your imagination and rely on your intuition to help you find solutions. Refuse to let your emotions stand between you and doing what's right or best for everyone. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. Risk is not an option. Listen to what others have to offer, but when it comes to matters concerning business, reputation, or position, take the most secure path. Make love a priority and keep the peace. And finally, Virgo, my birth sign, August 23rd through September 22nd. Do something you've never done. Reach out to someone who shares your interests. A shift in the way you live will lead to an unexpected opportunity. Older and younger people will offer insights. And as always, the horoscope is an entertainment feature, not based on scientific fact. The funerals today in the Kiliana area include Nolan Chason at the Dell Home Funeral Home at 1 p.m., Kenneth and Missy Hicks, St. Jules Catholic Church at 10 a.m., Marie Langolay, Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church at 3 p.m., Jesse Saunier, Our Lady of Assumption Catholic Church at 11 a.m., and O.J. Thibodeau Jr., Mountain Memorial Funeral Home in Lafayette at 9:30 a.m. Okay, getting back into the news. Defense team set for man accused of killing officer. Lead lawyer withdraws from Ian Howard case by Ben Meyer, staff writer. The defense team for the man accused of killing a Lafayette police officer 3 years ago is intact following months of confusion. Lead defense lawyer Stephen Singer withdrew this week, ending a conflict that surfaced in May after the Louisiana Capital Assistance Center terminated him. The center's executive director, Richard Bork, is now enrolled as a new lead attorney, and a staff attorney, Elliot Brown, will remain as co-counsel. The center is representing Ian Howard under contract with the Louisiana Public Defender Board, but Singer claimed after being fired that Howard privately retained him and refused to give up the case. Bork then asked Judge Jules Edwards to determine who should represent Howard, insisting that the organization's relationship with Singer was inequitable. Brown testified in court that his continued pairing with Singer presented a conflict of interest that would impair Howard's defense. But Edwards dismissed these concerns, and he ordered Singer and Brown to continue in their roles regardless of Singer's employment status. Edwards went a step further, finding Bork in contempt of court for halting work on the case while seeking a determination of who would represent Howard. The Third Circuit Court of Appeal this month reversed Edwards' rulings, clearing Bork of contempt and ordering Edwards to re-examine whether there was a conflict among Howard's lawyers. With Singer's withdrawal from the case on September 21st, along with Bork's enrollment, settled the matter. Howard is separately charged with capital murder in the fatal shooting of Corporal Michael Middlebrook and 3 counts of attempted murder in the non-fatal shootings of 3 others. No one disputes that Howard fatally shot Middlebrook in October 2017 and that he wounded 3 others, but Howard, who has a history of mental illness, is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. He is technically charged in 2 cases, 1 count of capital murder in Middlebrook's death and 3 counts of attempted murder related to the non-fatal shooting victims. The attempted murder charges are proceeding first with trial set for November 9th. The capital case will follow at a later time. A source of love. St. Thomas High breaks new ground on new chapel project. By Ken Stickney, staff writer. St. Thomas More Catholic High School broke ground Thursday on a new chapel that will evoke an ancient, treasured look. The $2.5 million chapel, it will be named the Chapel of St. Thomas More, is expected to be built within a year after the selection of a construction company, which will come in mid-October. The architect is A. Bell Grozier Architects of Lafayette. The 250-seat chapel will hold at one time about one grade level of the 4 enrolled at the school, which has a current student body of 916 students. That enrollment includes 22 students from Lake Charles who evacuated after Hurricane Laura on August 27th. Lafayette Catholic Schools took in about 165 students from the affected areas. The chapel will be built over and beyond the prayer garden located near the front of the property, which will be located on adjacent ground. The prayer garden was built about 10 years ago. Funding for the chapel has been secured through gifts and pledges. Lafayette Bishop Douglas Desitel and the Reverend Michael Russo, pastor of St. Anne Catholic Church in Youngsville and chancellor of the high school for 7 years, spoke about the chapel during Mass in the school's common area for the groundbreaking ceremony. Desitel said during his homily that the chapel will be dedicated under the patronage of St. Thomas More, the 16th century lawyer, Lord Chancellor to Henry VIII, statesman and social philosopher who opposed the Protestant Reformation, elevation of Henry to lead the Church of England, and Henry's annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. As ousted Lord Chancellor, the conscience of the king, More was executed in 1535 and was canonized in 1935. Rousseau said the chapel, extending from the gin to the curb, will be built with the influence of the Chelsea Old Church near London, part of which served as More's private chapel, in mind. That chapel dates back to the 12th century. It sustained damage during German bombing in World War II, but More's chapel weathered much of the harm. It is now All Saints, an Anglican church. We were so grateful to donors and benefactors, Rousseau said. The chapel, Desitel said, will be a source of love that will nourish the community more than a convenient meeting place. He said it will be where we participate here and now in redemption. The school was opened in 1982 and plans for a separate chapel have been pursued for more than 20 years. The chapel was built through numerous donations, including one from the Richard Schuslag family and executives of Acadian Ambulance, which proved instrumental in launching the funding campaign. That donation was made in memory of J. Hubert Red Demensel, Sr., a longtime Lafayette banker who died at 86 in 2018. Acadian Ambulance's leadership, including Schuslag, credits Demensel for aiding the success of their company created in Lafayette in 1971. Dumensel's widow, Gertrude Dumensel, was at the groundbreaking and said her husband, who was a graduate of Cathedral High School, had been among 12 men who helped found the high school. Dumensel, Madeline Bustani Hillard, and Tom Butcher were named honorary chairpeople for Envision More, a $12 million capital campaign to improve the school, which began in 2018. Ann Petrie, Director of Advancement, said construction of the chapel is the second of 4 components of Envision More. First was construction of new classrooms and the Option Center now completed. Others planned are a creative arts and community center and an athletic and fitness center. Kelly Leger, principal, said the school has been envisioning a chapel for many years. Now we are seeing the fruits of our labor come to fruition, she said. Moving on, phase 2 of Bottle Arts Loft development underway. Project to include 4-story, 67,000 square foot building by Adam Daigle, Acadiana business editor. The second phase of the Bottle Arts Loft will include a 4-story, 67,000 square foot building on the east side of the development along University Avenue. The building will feature 65 affordable units along with a community space and will be just north of a green space near Cameron Street, said Josh Colin, president of HRI Communities. HRI recently moved forward with phase 1 of the project, which included the demolition of the old less paid motel to make way for 40 affordable housing units in the former Coca-Cola bottling plant and warehouse. Construction of the new building, along with the park area in Phase 1, will cost $16 million. It's expected to begin in December. The project was awarded a $7.2 million grant in June from the Louisiana Housing Corporation through its Piggyback Resilient Mixed Income Funding. It's really designed to fit nicely on that block, Colleen said. It's a sign that the neighborhood is ready for investment. You come up from the underpass and you see a beautiful modern 4-story building that in and of itself is intentional, so people will be encouraged to invest in the neighborhood. The building will have no historical requirements, but will feature bands of windows on the 3rd floor that relate to the Coca-Cola building's 2nd floor and ground floor windows, he said. The park area at the corner will feature a green space with a walking path, sculpture, and mural along a fence next to the parking lot. Colleen said the agency is working with Cité des Arts and other agencies for the project. We think we're doing something there with a mural and a sculpture could really show the kind of progress and be an expression of the creative power that we know the city and the region has, Colleen said. We want to do something that's rooted in the community. It's going to be a process, and we at HRI are not going to determine any of that. Construction on the development, which will be geared toward artists, is expected to take 14 months. HRI Communities have built affordable housing focused on artists before, with the Blue Plate Artist Loss in New Orleans, wherein it converted the former Blue Plate mayonnaise factory into 72 Artist Loss in 2011. All right, moving on, looking at the crime blotter today. A 17-year-old arrested in Fatal North University Avenue shooting. A 17-year-old was arrested Wednesday in a fatal shooting on North University Avenue. 17-year-old male was arrested by agents with the U.S. Marshals Violent Offender Task Force and booked on counts of second-degree murder, illegal use of weapons, and illegal carrying of weapons. The teen is accused of shooting 18-year-old Damian George on Saturday. A statement from Lafayette Police Department spokesman Sergeant Wayne Griffin said. The shooting happened about 11 a.m. at a convenience store in the 800 block of North University Avenue. George was found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest by first responders and was taken to a hospital where he later died, Griffin said. 17-year-old suspect fled the scene before the officers arrived, but a surveillance photo of the teenager was circulated. His identity has not been released by authorities. Griffin said in addition to the homicide, the team has unrelated active warrants for armed robbery and aggravated second-degree battery. A diesel spill causes crashes on I-10. 12 separate crashes involving 26 vehicles contributed to an hour-long shutdown of Interstate 10 near the Texas border Wednesday, KATC-TV reported. Crashes were caused by a diesel spill on the interstate. Louisiana State Police Troop D spokesperson, Trooper Derek Senegal, said a tractor-trailer rig struck metal debris on the interstate near milepost 1, causing the truck's fuel tank to rupture and spill diesel across a roughly 4-mile swath of highway. The rain, combined with the diesel spill, created conditions unfavorable for driving, Senegal said. Acadiana ambulance crews responded to the scene, but no injuries were reported. In Shreveport, 2 former letter carriers indicted by the Associated Press. Out of Shreveport, 2 former letter carriers in the same Louisiana city are accused of separate felonies involving mail they were supposed to deliver. Cedarius Howard, 33, is accused of delaying or destroying mail in March, and Sinise Jordan, 32, of stealing a Walmart gift card from a letter and of delaying opening of that letter in July 2019, U.S. Attorney Alexander Van Hook said in a news release on Thursday. Statement does not describe the amount of or circumstances of Howard's alleged actions. Both are from Shreveport and both were indicted Wednesday. It was not clear whether either had an attorney who could speak for them. Information about the cases was not yet available in online federal court records. Each would face up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine if convicted, according to the news release. Now we turn our sights to sports. Now that football has ramped up again. Cajuns have holes to fill in lineup, as many as 8 starters unavailable for Saturday's game, like Kevin Foote's staff writer. UL coach Millie Napier warned how unstable the depth chart will be from week to week during the season. He wasn't lying. He described positive COVID-19 tests. Excuse me, let me take a sip of tea here. Clear out the vocal cords. Thank you. He described positive COVID-19 tests impacting the depth chart before week 2 at Georgia State as the streak ending. With it, a streak of different kind began with many more Raging Cajuns not available for Saturday's 11 a.m. home opener against Georgia Southern at Cajun Field. As many as 8 potential starters, as well as several reserves, weren't listed as available on the updated depth chart released Wednesday evening. Freshman wide receiver Dante Fleming, lower body, was listed as questionable, and Chris Moncrief, upper body, out on the injury report. But the remainder of the players are assumed to be COVID-related, with no other explanation reported. The missing list is topped by senior running back Elijah Mitchell, whose 164 yards and 2 touchdowns bailed out the number 19th ranked Cajuns from the 34-31 overtime win over Georgia State to get to 2-0. Other starters not appearing on this week's depth chart are defensive tackle Tylen Humphrey, right tackle Max Mitchell, his safety Cameron Solomon, linebacker Joe Dillon, and cornerback A.J. Washington. Also not included in the depth chart were kicker Kenny Almoderas and defensive lineman Kento Wilkerson and Sonny Hazard. We've had good practices, Napier said of the week so far. The testing variable is where you've got to make adjustments most week. A week ago, the coaching staff saw reserves step up big at linebacker and in the secondary. This week, far more backups will need to respond for the Cajuns to get to 3-0. I think those opportunities like these young men had last week, that's what this football season is going to present, given the dynamic that we're competing in, Napier said. With Mitchell out, the Cajuns will lean more on senior Trey Regas and sophomore Chris Smith, but freshman Imani Bailey and junior T.J. Wishman will be available if needed. Both could play in the game, and we'd be really comfortable with it, Napier said. Bailey has been especially impressive with the reps that he's taken. TJ missed quite a bit of time during training camp. Imani Bailey has been one of the more impressive freshmen, and we hope that transfers to the game. He's been playing on special teams a little bit. I've been blessed with his attention to detail. He's a good practice player. He practices fast. He's intense. It's very important to Imani to do his job for his team. He doesn't like to make mistakes. Napier says he's also comfortable with the reserves at linebacker, which now includes sophomore and junior college transfer Jasper Williams and redshirt freshman walk-on LaCaman Franklin from Neville High. Williams was hurt during training camp, but he has been really impressive in the short time we've been able to work with him on the field. Really smart kid, really conscientious, pays attention. He's a detail guy. He's tracking everything that you're teaching. Senior Chauncey Manak will play a bigger role this week. Oh yeah, Chauncey and Joe played 50% of the snaps in the first game, 50-50, Napier said. We see Chauncey as a starter. He's one of the players that stepped up last week. Tyler Guidry, A.J. Riley, all 3 of those guys played last week, and all 3 did a real good job. Assistant coach Mike Giuliani had done a good job with the group. That was one of the bright spots last week. I know McKay Garner got a lot of attention because A.J. Washington was out at cornerback. Going back and looking at the tape, we were very pleased with their detail, their execution, and their production. On the offensive line, junior Carlos Rubio and Spencer Gardner will fill in for Max Mitchell. Rubio has been praised throughout camp for his versatility, and Gardner had good knowledge of the system. He has good length and good feet. He's a good technician, and he certainly worked hard for those opportunities to play. If Fleming is out again, Napier said he feels comfortable with the depth at receiver. Former Cecilia star Caleb Carter said, and an LCA standout Errol Rodgers figured into the picture. I've been very pleased with the progress of Rodgers this week. Napier said of Rodgers, after the oblique injury he had in training camp, he missed about 10 days or so. He's made really steady progress. I think you'll see him more, and he's making the most of his opportunity. In Napier's mind, Carter has earned the right to play anyway. Caleb can really run, he said. He's a vertical threat, presents some strength as a result of that. He's a detailed route runner, and he's smart. He has a good understanding of the system. He's really been productive this training camp. He's had one of the better training camps in that group. Caleb is a good result of that. He's in there mixing it up and certainly very deserving of that opportunity. And we have one more story to read from LSU football sports, but it is 9:55, which our broadcast will be ending at our TV stations, our audio broadcast. I can still be heard, and our news can still be heard on our online streaming radio service at AOC Community, at Cypress Street Radio. That's our online streaming service, Cypress, CYPRESS Street Radio. Just look that up in your browser and click on the play button. Or you can go to our YouTube station, which is AOC Community Media, and listen to the audio portion of our news. And this last article is from LSU, like I said, Sitting. This one out from backyard parties to cutouts. LSU fans find ways to celebrate season. LSU football fans have earned an unparalleled reputation for their intensity, both good and not so good. I remember a Tiger player named Thomas Dunson, who played on defensive coordinator Lou Tepper's infamous drop linebacker position in the late 1990s, describing that was what it was like to play in Tiger Stadium. It's like playing inside a volcano, Dunson said. You never know if it's going to erupt on you or the other team. The eruptions will be muted this season, that's for sure. At least to start, Death Valley will be more like Death Hollow, with just over 25,000 fans, including the LSU band, allowed to scatter themselves thinly across Tiger Stadium's 102,321 seats. This season will be a test of LSU fandom like nothing else we've seen, even those once in a blue moon games when it rains. I know, it never rains in Tiger Stadium, but I also know that I'm still trying to dry out from the nearly horizontal rain that soaked me up to my waist at the 1980 Tulane game. For most fans, the experience will be a remote one, like the one Elsie and Charles Kaufman are planning at their Baton Rouge home. Our group of 8 is tailgating at home, Elsie Kaufman wrote. Same food, same plans as watching it on TV. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. on CBS. For more than 12 years now, the Kaufmans and their LSU football fans also have hosted a big prediction party in August. Whoever gets the closest to the Tigers' final record has to host a party the next year. The Kaufman's son Mark predicted in March 2019 that LSU would go 15-0 and win the national championship, and even that John Burrow would win the Heisman Trophy. We should have known the apocalypse was inevitable, Elsie Kaufman wrote. This year, the prediction was not on what LSU's record would be in the reconfigured 10-game coronavirus-altered schedule, but simply will there be a football season. The vast majority of LSU fans will have to watch and hope from home or restaurants or wherever. The folks at the Pelican Point Golf and Country Club are planning a big watch party outdoors beneath the gazebo near the clubhouse. Surely sounds of cheers and groans will be coming from camps and backyards and thousands of other places Saturday afternoon. Of course, there are those few thousand lucky folks who are going and even making an extra effort to get in the game. The website, ticketiq.com, said the average price earlier this week for tickets on the secondary market for Saturday's contest was $243, 247% higher than last year's average, with the cheapest get-in price of $90. Let's see, despite the unusual circumstances and the masks I have to wear at the game and the quarter-pounder sized atmosphere at Tiger Stadium compared to the typical full meal, Dumene said he wants to go for what is hopefully a once-in-a-lifetime LSU opener. A surprising number of Tiger fans who can't be there in person will make sure at least an image of them is. LSU has taken orders for hundreds of cardboard cutouts of fans that will be scattered throughout the stands Friday, mixed in with the actual crowd. The cost is $50, with proceeds going to the newly established LSU Victory Fund to support its student athletes during the pandemic. The school is expected to have orders for between 400 and 600 cutouts, but by Tuesday's 5 p.m. deadline, LSU had requests for nearly 1,500. It's been an amazing response, said Dave Haskin, LSU Assistant Athletic Director for Marketing. There's nothing like the LSU fan base. We were blown away. Haskin said it's not too late to put in orders for the rest of the season. The Tigers are scheduled to have 4 more home games after this one, starting with Missouri on October 10th. Okay, that about wraps it up for today's broadcast. We air the news live, online news live, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. in accordance and cooperation with the Acadiana Advocate, our contributing newspaper and source. The reason we do this is for our visually impaired audience, plus the people in our community who don't get the newspaper or have access to the news cycle. We're happy to bring you the broadcast every Monday through Friday, like I said, from 9 to 10 a.m. with volunteer readers like myself. And in the past 5.5, 6 months, it's been from remote. So if you're interested in becoming a newspaper reader, we welcome you. Please go to our website, aocinc.org, look at the volunteer page, fill out the form. As a volunteer newspaper reader, come join the family. As always, this is Bruce Cohen. Will always be Bruce Cohen. Be safe, healthy, and smart up there, folks. Continue to wear your mask. Continue to do all the protocols that have been in place for months to end and ebb the spread of the virus, especially now that Acadiana schools are reporting more cases. Please just be smart out there. When you're around people you don't know, wear your mask. If you quarantine with people for months, not such an issue. But if you go out into the public where there's people that you don't know are infected or not, please wear your mask and keep your distance. And use the other protocols as well, like washing your hands. So again, this is Bruce Cohen signing off. Be kind to each other and have a great day.